Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Okay, so I want to talk about in 2013, 2012, 13, I kind of accidentally fell into something that I've been trying to teach all of you in some ways to help you achieve your ascendance and your merger into the white space. And I've been talking about this a lot with a lot of you, and until I found this video 2 weeks ago on actually YouTube, it just showed up on my feed because I was asking God, how do I explain this principle to people? Because I don't know any other way. I don't think I'm doing a good job at communicating it. So let me go over the principles, okay? What happened is that when you're, okay, the video talks about secret teachings of Jesus that are coming from the Gnostic teaching. Gnosticism or Gnostic is direct knowledge, as opposed to religious teaching, which is knowledge by faith. The early Christians were Gnostics, and they taught principles or teachings of Jesus to inner circle that would give you direct communication with God or with the monad or the ascended master, the realm of God. But at 325 AD, in Nicaea, in Constantinople, the church fathers moved in to remove and clean out a whole bunch of gospel, because at the time, in the early Christian era, between the first and the third century, there existed actually over 50 gospels. But the church fathers at the time, realizing how profitable the church could potentially be, they removed all of these other gospels and only kept the four gospels that we know in the Bible, current Bible that we know right now. And they went after anybody else that had a copy of these other Bibles and other books or the spiritual books that early Christians were using. They move, and the reason for this is because the teaching that I'm going to go over with you today gave you direct knowledge of God, and therefore, if you had access to that knowledge, you would not need to have a clergy as an intermediary between you and your connection to the divine. Because they wanted to hold the key for heaven, and also through the sacraments and through all the things they were doing, and also the locks of hell. So the teachings and everything in that video that I sent you, 15-minute video I sent you, is true. Meaning I have, since 2013, I've been trying to teach you all of these things. When I saw this video, it shocked me. I was completely flabbergasted, because for me, it was a soul memory. It was something that came deep with my soul. I instinctively knew what to do. I kind of fell into it. And the first time I went into the white space, I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was just a mistake. I don't know where I went. And more importantly, I wasn't sure that I could repeat it. And then I kept on repeating it, and by following the principle, we're going to go over it now. So it hinges on the fact that when you enter into the rest and the stillness of God, you enter into a state of silence. And in that silence, the first thing that you become aware of is that you can hear noises as you remain still in the silence. So it could be hallway noises, your neighbors, cough driving down the street, sirens, etc. And then all of a sudden, you become aware that there is a pitch, a hum or a pitch that you hear with static noise behind it. According to the teaching, and what I have been doing is that I lean onto listening to that pitch, And as I lean closer and closer into listening to it, there comes a point where the pitch changes over a period of days. It changes into an increasing pressure in the ear, and an increasing pressure not just in the ear, but where I'm doing the practice. The pressure increased as if all the air and the atom that are in the air all around me feel that there is spiritual pressure in them. And more importantly, what may appear at first as a random pitch then change suddenly into, wait a minute, it has intention in it. Something or someone is trying to communicate something to me. Let me pay attention and listen to it carefully. And as I'm paying attention and trying to understand, because it feels like a dissonance, like my energetically, frequency-wise, my body seems to understand what's being said, but my frontal lobe does not get it. And I'm trying to make the two connect. And as I'm doing this, suddenly, like this, I am in this white volume. I go into this white space. Let me go over what the video said, and then we'll come back. So the video talks about this idea of the pitch as being one of the secret teaching that Jesus taught to his closest disciple. In the Gospel of Philip, and also the Apocrypha of John, and the Physa Sophia, and these books are coming from a series of books that were discovered in the Muhammadid text or library. The priest, the Gnostic priest, knowing that the church was after them, buried all of these books in clay jar into the earth that was discovered in 1945. So in these books now that we have, that were saved, thank God, by the foresight of these early Gnostics, they are talking. This is coming from those three books. They talk about the fact that there are three types of people in the world. The first type is what they call the helix. It's individuals who are so materialistic that they are not hearing the pitch. They are disconnected to it. The pitch is there because every human being on the planet is connected to it. The pitch is actually a direct signal of frequency and vibration coming from the monad to you, to all of us on earth, that bypass the archons and the demiurge. It bypasses all of them. Okay? And so there are three types of beings. The first are the helix, and they don't get it. They don't hear anything. The second type is what they call the psychic, which are individuals who at moment can hear the pitch. They may misinterpret it, but they can hear it. And then there is what is called the nomadic individual, which are the chosen one that have a permanent connection to this hum, to this pitch. They hear it all the time, although a lot of time they dismiss it as background noise. But they have a direct connection to it, which means that, and you have to understand what that sound, that pitch is. It's a vibratory connection that you have to the light, to the true light, that bypass the demiurge and bypass the archon, bypass Hasatan. And by you paying attention to it, which we're going to go into it, it actually can restore your true connection to light, to the true light. Now, they talk about the fact as well that according to the Gnostic teaching, there was the monad, which is the light, the totality of everything that's illumined, that's coming from, you can call it creator. Then there is the pleroma, which is the emptiness. It's the fullness of the envelope, the pleroma. And then there is the material world. And the material world is created by or sealed by the demiurge in a zerapin, in a glass bubble, to hold humanity or anybody that's in the physical world in a hierarchical relationship to light. In other words, to always believe you're disconnected and separated from light, and you need to pray, you need to supplicate, you need to, etc., etc. You need to do all of these things so that your connection is restored, but it can only be restored temporarily. You don't have a permanent connection to it. It's like when you look through a kaleidoscope. I used to have this kaleidoscope when I was a kid. I used to love to look into them. There is all of these fragments and the multiple faceted, the way light would diffract to it. It's a reflected illusion to keep you believing that you're fragmented and you're disconnected to light, and you need an entire hierarchy of being above you to allow you to intercede in your, the same way the church was being created, to intercede in your behalf so that you can connect back to God. Whereas the Gnostic were teaching something different with this idea, and so did Jesus with this idea of the sound, is that you're connected already. All you need to do is to cultivate the relationship between you and that pitch, so that you can restore your true balance and your true inheritance. Now, the demiurge, again, does not create shadows. And I'm saying this all the time. I want you to understand that the demiurge is actually Lucifer, and his name translated as the bearer of light. He does not produce shadows. He creates fragmented light, reflected light. And that light is a Serapin. It's a little face. It's a smaller version of God to hold you in place, in separation, in fragmentation, to cause you not to be able to merge back into the true light. Now, to explain this in a term that makes sense, when you're beginning to hear the pitch, there are 3 different levels to it. The first one will be the tone and the pitch is very high, and it will happen in only one ear. It's a way for the monad to get your attention about something. When this happens, pay attention to what you're doing. What's happening around you in the physical world right now, the monad is trying to, it's like a capital font or a bold letter. It's trying to tell you, pay attention to this, either positively or negatively. You need to pay attention. Something is going on around you at the moment that you have to pay attention to. The second way you hear it is a sustained tone. Like you can hear the pitch going in the background for a long time in both ears. And it's telling you at that moment that you're aligned. Okay? That you're aligned, and the monad is giving you this frequency, this transmission, and you're holding the transmission. And the third part is once you lean into that transmission, and this is what I was telling you when I did the practice for a long time, and eventually it gets into that area where it becomes like a pressure, it seems like the sound increases, and the static that you hear in the background seems to increase, and there's a lot of pressure. Okay? But with that pressure also comes a realization that there is intention. It's not just random. There is intention. And there is a communication, there is a language that's being given to you. And it is now your opportunity to lean into whatever energetically you're getting, but you're not getting 3D or cognitively. Energetically you're getting it, but cognitively you're not getting it. And you need to create a connection between the two. And when that happens, eventually it will lead you into incredible experiences. Now, the first part of when you're beginning to listening to the sustained tone is that you're gonna, in order for you to cultivate this, you have to first recognize that this tone is important. Because many of us can hear the tone in the background and we don't pay attention. We do other things, we get distracted, we talk, we completely ignore it. If you recognize that it's important, then that's the first step. The second step is that you have to engage with it. Sit quiet, shut down everything, allow yourself to be in silence and listen. Listen. And the third part is beyond the listening, and the pressure will increase. And beyond the pressure, it's the declaration. You have to decree to the universe your direct connection to this. And the way the Gnostic teaching from the book of Philip says you decree it, you say out loud, I am the sign. I can tell you that since 2 weeks ago, I've been doing this. I've been doing the practice, repeating this on a daily basis. It makes a world of difference because the pitch change. The moment I say this, it changes. Any questions or any comments so far? Okay. I have a very specific way in which I do this. When I was doing retreats upstate and 9-day retreats, I would actually have everybody do the torsion field 3 times a day. We would do it in the morning. I would guide people in meditation to do it for the first 3 days. Then we would do it in the afternoon. We would break again. And at night, before we went to sleep after dinner, we would do the torsion field 1 more time. And after 3 days, on the 4th day, I would switch it up. By then, 3 days, if you 3 times 3 is 9, we had done this 9 times in a row. I ask everybody in the morning, I would then do the torsion field, guide people with music in the background, guide them into the way I'm going to do with you, into this practice. Then after lunch, I would gather with everyone as well, present whatever material I needed to present and explain, and then I would just play the music alone, and I would ask everybody, because by now you should remember every part of it, because we've been doing this for 3 days now, 3 times a day. Do it, we are sitting in a circle, you do it with the music, just the music playing in the background. At night, no music, complete stillness. Because in order for you to do this practice, you cannot have music in the background, you cannot have me in a tape or in a recording talking to you. Because you will not pay attention to the pitch. And the pitch, it has to be a direct knowledge between you and the monad. A direct knowledge between you and God. It can't be me as an intermediary trying to negotiate it for you. That part is extremely important. And I would do this for the remainder of the retreat. And hoping that people would understand and merge and connect to this. Now, there are miraculous things that happen to you when you do this. Everything in your life will begin to shift into incredible, miraculous synchronicities. You're thinking about something, it is in a snap there in front of you. You want to talk to somebody, they call you, or they show up at your door. You want to do X, Y, Z, and weird synchronicities that will be, it's very scary to be perfectly honest, because there will be so many coincidences that you will realize they are not coincidences, and more importantly, that in truth, you're not doing anything special to achieve this kind of miraculous connection. And the reason for this is because you are not doing it. You surrender all of your burden when you are connected to the monad through through the pitch. The monad knows, the God knows all of your burden. It knows them. And it will miraculously move forward to resolve them and bring you the solution set. The exact, because it's everything in the universe is about frequency and vibration. So the nullifying frequency and vibration that you need will come to you. If you need healing, the healing will come. If you need a job, the job will come. If you need rest, the rest will come. Whatever you need. But you have to create the time so that you can remain in that silent practice. Because that's the only way the direct knowledge of it can come to you. It's not an intellectual thing. It's very hard for those of us who are used to having to do and make effort. You need to do nothing. In fact, if what you need to do is remain quiet and still. You need to, it's nothing you have to fix. It's nothing you have to repair. It's nothing you have to accomplish. You need to let go of everything and remain in the rest, the stillness, and the serenity. And when you're in that state, the pitch will increase. And then when you're in that pitch, the thing that I usually say to myself when I go in there, I need to listen. Listen as if the more than 50 trillion cells in my body had ears. I need to listen with my entire consciousness. And a weirdness, I shouldn't say weirdness, but an unusual state gets created. The entire atmosphere and molecules and atoms in your body and all around you begin to be charged with spiritual pressure. Charge. It's healing pressure, it's spiritual pressure, and it's increasing, 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 increasing. And then the next thing you know, what you need, what I usually do so that I can give you the information correctly. What I usually do is that when I'm going to do this practice, I usually, and you need to notice this. For me, for example, as a teacher, I have a chair that I sit at where I teach, which is where I am right now. The place where I receive from God is different. I have to move to a different location in my apartment and go sit at a location. Actually, it's a chair that my guest usually sits in. But I have that particular and you have to check where you are, your home, your apartment. There will be a location where all the bars are there. When you sit there, you close your eyes to meditate, you can feel immediate connection to a higher power. So that's where you go to do the practice. I usually also either burn incense or have aromatherapy things around me, or in this instance right now, since I'm being able to find white color lilies and they're very aromatic, there's a bouquet right next to me. And I don't need to burn or do anything else. The scent is enough to take me, facilitate the connection. I tend also to get cold, and in the video they talked about the fact you either get cold or you get very hot. For me, it's cold. So I usually wear like a fleece jacket on top of me, even if it's the summer. And I put a wool blanket over my leg. Because my temperature is going to drop. I'm going to get cold. And then I put a piece of paper and a pen next to me. Because what happens a lot of time, things that I'm not even thinking about. Because the healing is so deep that all the subconscious complexes, all the stuff that are knotted inside of you, the more that energy of God comes in and unravels them. And sometimes the solution set is not just frequency and vibration, but it's intellectual knowledge that you need to know. So all of a sudden, in a flash, something will come up, or you will have a visual. And I typically open my eyes at that point. There's a table next to me, and I would write down, like in one sentence, what it is. And I close my eyes and go back into it again. And the reason for this, and I dim the light, by the way. I dim the light when I do this. And the reason for this is because in that one sitting, you could have 4 or 5 insights. And typically speaking, you're not going to remember from memory the first 2. If you're lucky, the last 3 you will remember. Now, the first few times you do this, it could be that as you're listening like this, you think you pass out, like you fall asleep. You don't know where you went, you just pass out. You feel great when you come back, very refreshed, but you don't remember where you went. It's okay. And as you keep doing the practice, and again, you have to create the time for it. And it's not about you throwing a javelin or climbing a mountain or having to do. It's the exact opposite. You have to listen to that vibratory direct connection you have with God. It's a vibratory connection that you have with God. And the static you're hearing when you're hearing that pitch, the static it's coming from the zerapin that the demiurge has created to have you in the kaleidoscope looking at shiny things. Squirrel, 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 running around looking at shiny things, distracting you from actually focusing on the pitch and the sound that you're hearing. It's not tinnitus. It's not tinnitus. It's a direct vibratory connection to God. And it bypasses whatever construct that the demiurge has created. And over time of doing this daily, what's going to happen is that, and it's not going to take long. A few days, a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. And suddenly like this, you're going to go right into the white space. And the white space, the first time I went in, again, I thought it was a mistake. I'm listening to the pitch, again, the pressure. I'm so glad I have this explanation now, because when this was happening to me in 2013, I thought I was crazy. I thought I was making this up in my head. And the fact that somebody found this in these ancient texts is beyond, I don't have words to explain how vindicated I feel in a way, and how also shocked I feel in a way. Because the pressure increased and increased, and one day all of a sudden, I am somewhere. I don't have a body. I'm somewhere, and the somewhere is a gigantic and immense volume, and it's white everywhere. But not white as a directed light, but white as in being inside a. It's not exactly a fog, but that kind of consistency, like you're inside this, but it feels immense because there's no end to it in any direction. It took me months of continually going in that space to finally realize, oh my God, when I am in that volume, I have no thought. No external thought, but because I'm so unburdened. This is why you need to do the torsion field before, because the torsion field allows you to be completely neutral. And when you're completely neutral, you're able, because you're now, you're not trying to attach yourself, solve, repair, do nothing. And then once you're finished, then you get into that, you can continue with that practice. I recommend you do this at least once a day. If you have more time, you can maybe try to do it twice a day if you're ambitious, but at least once a day. And I can guarantee you it will create miracle in your life. And you're not going to be able to explain, because that we have that old saying in the Caribbean, you have to know there to go there. For the few people of my class who are in my other classes that have done this, and I'm explaining this to them, they say, I know, because you can't explain it to people. The incredible and miraculous things that happen in your life, you're going to know that it is not you doing it, but you seem to be in synchronicity with the universe. That God and you are in such synchronicities, you just have to think of something, it just shows up. And you're merged or you're connected to it, and it just yield and yield and yield and yield. When I do a celestial light healing on somebody, whether it's remote or in person, when I put my hand on the person to try to do a healing for them, all I have to do is maintain that state of being because I do the torsion field first, and maintain that connection. Being in that stillness, and let the pressure and whatever God wants to do, let God do it. I don't know how to cure cancer. I don't know how to. There's nothing that I personally am capable of doing or not doing. I don't have that kind of power. And when I'm doing the healing, suddenly, if the person gets up and said, oh my God, I can't believe I don't have XYZ, it is not Pierre that did it. Because to me, it feels, actually, I receive a healing and I just blink my eyelid. Because all I am doing is that I'm standing, or I am being a bridge connecting the person to stillness. Does that make any sense? And in the process of doing this, I'm again, it's when I get too much in my head, when I'm doing a healing and I get too much in my head and I'm thinking, I know when I'm doing the healing, when I'm disconnected to the healing, when I'm doing the healing and I start thinking about food, what's in the refrigerator. I'm hungry. And the moment that happened, I'm not connected anymore. So the idea is to allow that connection that you have to infinity times infinity to take over, and let infinity times infinity be the what's the word I want to use? Be the compass, be the guide, be the driver. And you're nothing but the passenger. We're more than just passenger, because what we are is that we are the transducer. We allow this high frequency energy, because it doesn't have a way, because of the volume that the demiurge created, the Zerapin, it doesn't have a way to connect correctly to affect the affairs of humanity. To create, but initially when you connect to it, it will change your personal life, because it's going to put you in a place of incredible positive and life-changing synchronicities, like a state of constant miracles, without you having to do nothing. And it's going to feel, some people feel undeserving when that happens. I feel grateful. I feel grateful that I am so blessed that the universe and God is allowing all these blessings to come into me. I feel very grateful. So it's up to all of us who are doing this practice to first begin to feel in our life, like if you're doing this for 2 weeks and you begin to notice all of these weird, not weird, but blessings, incredible synchronicities. It's going to be jarring. They are going to be jarring because they're going to be things that are impossible to have been synchronistically, to have that kind of connection and synchronicity. It's going to be very jarring, but in a positive way. And then you're beginning to realize it is not you doing it. It's the connection that you have established in this hearing. It's the connection you have established that's now creating this miraculous, because God knows all your needs, and very methodically and correctly it will begin to unravel, unknot this, unknot that, and open up a whole bunch of things for you, where all you're left with is to exist in the rest and the serenity of God. There will come a point in the process of doing this where, because the whole idea is that if you begin to heal your life in this way, your home where you're doing the meditation and the practice will become blessed, and the pressure, the spiritual pressure I'm talking about, is going to be in that home. In fact, people who are misaligned, when they come in your home, they're going to hear sometimes the sound, the pitch. I had one person going upstairs, the pitch was so, she had to go to the emergency room. And she had to flee, get away from the house. Because the pitch was so loud in her ear, it was hurting her. It's because her life was misaligned. And when she arrived into that place, it was so holy and so filled of that connection with the monad that she was miscongruent. She couldn't remain in that space. And you're going to walk with it, because I've shared with you before that I feel sometimes that I have a flashlight above my head. It's very, as I'm doing the torsion field practice, all of them nesting on top of each other, I feel sometimes I go on the subway, it contracts, I go outside of the subway, poof, it just opens up. You become the pressure and the vortices that are being created, you become the center of it, because you are creating it. It's your consciousness that's the grounding rod that's allowing this force to come in, the God force to be in you. So you're connecting directly with the God force. And as you keep walking and and going around about your business, the pressure with you, and then you change molecularly. And you can, it's very hard to explain, but I can see it. I can sense the molecule and the things are moving. I can feel, for a moment, I can see it, and they're moving, and they are being changed because the pressure is changing them. They're being elevated in their highest form. And as I move about and go about my life and go about, and suddenly things are all shifting for me and becoming more and more harmonious. Now, that harmony that you're sensing, imagine for a moment that collectively as a group, as a council, as 144,000, all of us around the planet doing this work, we were in the same synchronicity, merging with each other in that rest, in that hearing that sound with the pressure, and allowing God and the God force to take over. The same way in our own personal life. Again, the Gnostic did not, although they had prayer in their rituals, but they didn't spend a lot of time on prayer. If you're doing the gnosis, the direct connection to God like this with this monad, you don't need to really pray a lot. Because the moment you get into that space, that intelligence that you're connected to will know your heart and will know what you need. And your need will be met with these synchronistic experiences in the physical realm. It will know what you want and what you need, and it will create it. But you need to engage with it. It's not going to happen just by intellectually knowing this. You need to do the practice. You need to engage with it. You need to create the time to sit down, as I said. If you get hot, then you have to take things off. But if you're getting like me, you get cold, you need to put a blanket over you. Be prepared. Spend the half hour that's needed to connect, to allow this engagement. And as you engage, it's going to change you. Bit by bit, day by day, it's going to change you. And more importantly, the rest of the time when you're not engaged, let's say by the 4th day or the 5th day, you're going to hear the pressure more and more. You're going to be aware of the pressure while doing something else, walking down the street. You're going to be aware that the pressure is there. The sound, the pitch is there. And you're going to sense the pressure, the spiritual pressure. And it will build up. Because you're doing the torsion field well, it's going to build up. And the miracle will follow you. It's not something you and I'm telling you, I'm being honest with you, it's not something that I can control. I don't know what God force is going to do. But if I'm in danger, God force is going to protect me. Like it did the last time when this accident happened to me. The God force will protect you. It will create unusual circumstances. And it's nothing that you were thinking about. I've shared with you the circumstance in which Celidia had been 3 days on standby in Atlanta, waiting to come back to New York. And she called me the 3rd day. She said, I need you to do a prayer for me because I'm still here. I'm number 48 on this list, on this waiting list. And I don't think I'm going to get to New York. I need you to. And I said, okay, have you done a torsion field? No. I said, well, let me do one for you. Stay on the phone. Don't say nothing. And I can hear sounds of the airport. She's at the gate. And I'm creating the torsion field around her, asking the field to help her get home. with that intention. I must have gotten to the 5th or the 6th guardian. All of a sudden she said, wait a minute, they're making an announcement. I'll call you back. She called me back 10 or 15 minutes later. She said, bless your holy name. I said, what happened? She said, Pierre, everyone that was in standby, including me, is in the plane. We are taxiing out. We're on our way to New York. So the blessing, and again, I did not imagine nor intend nor create. The only intention I put in as when I connected to her and created the torsion field around was simply this: bring Celidia home. That's it. But the field, God, the God force, knew how to do it. And it wasn't just for Celidia, it was for everyone that was in standby. Celidia said, this is the first time in life, and she worked in the airline industry for 32 years. She said, I've never seen this. They didn't even check our boarding pass. They said, get in the plane, take any seat, get in the plane. I didn't do this. I didn't think about this. All I did is a connection. Bring her home. I didn't even complete the whole construct of the torsion field. And the miracle just landed. There have been too many of these kind of events for me to mention beyond this example I'm using. There's been way too many of them. And a lot of time people will walk around and think you have power, you have ability. I don't have any power. But the God force has power. And all I do is bring whatever conundrum, lack, incompleteness, I just bring it to the field. And the field takes over. And the more I am in that state where the pressure is the strongest around me, the quicker it will work for everyone around me, including myself. Because I'm cultivating the connection. I'm engaging and I'm cultivating the connection that I have with that force. And when I'm cultivating it on a daily basis, it will remove the obstacles. It will change everything. I have to tell you that if all of us around the planet, right now, the world is on the brink of war. Given everything that's happening in America, all the craziness that's happening, I'm not going to get political, but you all have eyes and you know what's going on in the world. And because of all of the things that are going on, if all of us were to actually be in that state of awareness and bring the intention, peace to the world, the field, the God force would take over and miraculously, just like I just described now, miraculously create an event, a circumstance to bring peace to the world. I know this because I have experienced too many miraculous things. And again, it's not me doing it, because your ego is going to be put in check. You don't have that kind of power. Because honestly, I don't have a power to somehow miraculously. I just thought, Celidia, when I spoke to her, I just said, did you do torsion? She said, oh, I forgot about this. I didn't do it. I said, okay, stand still. Don't say nothing. I'm going to do it for you. It wasn't even 5 minutes. As I said, I was by the fifth or sixth guardian. All of a sudden she said, they're making an announcement, they're making an announcement. I'll call you back, I'll call you back. I don't need to know how it's done. God is not going to tell me how it's done, but God is going to know what to do. This is the way the 144,000 are supposed to be trained. And I have to tell you something. Between you and I, when you are connecting, particularly when you're radiating and you're trying to entrain somebody or trying to pray in the behalf of someone, when you're doing this, it's gonna feel, it's weird for me because as a teacher, let's say for example, the meditation I'm gonna do in 15 minutes for all of you is very intense and it's a lot of energy. I've told you that before, that when I'm doing the torsion field, I have to count with my fingers to know where I am or which guardian I'm in. Because what happens sometimes is that for a moment, for a flash, I am also, as I'm calling the guardian, they are going through me as well. And they're elevating me as well, and they're shifting me. And they're putting me in a deep trance, a transcendental state of awareness. And when they're doing this to me, although I still have to guide you in the meditation and channel it for you, they're doing it to my body as well. So I have to be in the borderline of receiving it and doing it for you. And because of that, a lot of time, for momentarily, for a few seconds, I feel either I'm going in and out, like I'm explaining my field is, or the pressure around me has shifted dramatically, or for a moment, I black out. I pass out for a moment. And that's why I count with my fingers, so that when I know, oh, I'm in the fourth guardian. Because I've folded to the fourth finger. So the next one is the fifth. So many times in the past, I've asked you which guardian I'm in, and one of you has to say to me back, oh, you're now the sixth guardian. Because when I lose consciousness and I come back, I don't remember where I am. Because the energy of that guardian is so strong around me and heals something so major in me that it shifted me out of my consciousness for a second or two. It is a practice of actually not only listening, but of connecting to the neutrality, the rest, and the stillness of God. And then when these three things happen, you listen. Listen to the frequency and the vibration that God is permanently sending to you. Now pay attention and engage with it. Listen completely to it. It's a transmission from the divine, from the God force. What energetically is it trying to give to you, to heal you, to remove the lack, to repair you, to change you, to elevate you? What is it trying to do for you? It's not about doing. It's not about climbing. It's not about overreaching. It's about surrendering. And as you do this, it will begin to shift so many things around you that you will be in a in a blessed state, where as you keep maintaining your practice on a daily basis, not only your apartment, the location you're in where you're doing this, your home is going to be shifted because you will have a column of light that's there and the pressure will be all around you. Positive spiritual pressure. But it's going to be also walking with you wherever you go. Because you're the one that has initiated the cultivation. It's going to walk with you. Any questions, any comments?
When I do the torsion field, I'm mostly doing it silently without your recording because then I can take the time as is appropriate when I feel that there's a pause or a slowdown in a certain area, right? Um, but I don't hear any any tone or pulsing that you speak of. Would you say that it's because I need to linger longer in
Yes,
that? Hmm.
yes, yes. It's typically after you do the torsion field and you go in that state of like, where you are like, I am in the rest and the serenity of God. And then what I usually say to myself is listen. Listen as if the more than 50 trillion cells in my body had ears. And as I'm listening, it's it's a pitch. And it has a lot of static around it. It feels like tinnitus, like it's in the background.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay? And then when you sit with it and you lean into it, that's the connection to the monad. All of us, there's not one person that does not receive this transmission. Where you're receiving it is just that you haven't you haven't engaged in it. Anybody else? And again, Janice, it's not music that you're hearing. It's like a hum.
Right, I understand. I don't hear that, but
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a hum. Yes. Okay. Anyone else? All right, let's take a 5 minute break and then we'll do the closing meditation. Let's take a bathroom break, a water break, and then we'll do the closing meditation. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Please forgive me. I love you. And I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. And notice what you noticed. And the guardian alliance of light approach you, offering to gift you their shields of light and protection, and a band of neutrality. If you are ready to accept this gift at this time, answer affirmatively. And let the energy of the first guardian begin in the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of your feet, passing through your core, exiting outside of your head, and going into the top of the fourth dimensional body while creating all around you. A torsion field of neutrality. I am the rest and the stillness of God. And the energy at the top of your head extends, and it attracts now the coming of the second guardian, cascading down from the top of the fifth dimensional body, rotating clockwise, dropping into the top of your head, passing through your core, exiting at the bottom of your feet, and going into the core of the earth while creating all around you. The torsion field of neutrality. I am the rest and the stillness of God. The axis at the bottom of your feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the third guardian, coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of your feet, passing through my core, exiting at the top of my head, and going into the top of the sixth dimensional body and creating all around me. The torsion field of neutrality. I am in the rest and the stillness of God. The axis at the top of my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the fourth guardian coming in from the top of the seventh dimensional body, rotating clockwise, cascading to the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth while creating all around me. A total field of neutrality. I am in the rest and the stillness of God. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the fifth guardian coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of the eighth dimensional body while creating all around me. A torsion field of neutrality. I am in the rest and the stillness of God. The axis at the top of my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the sixth guardian coming in from the top of the ninth dimensional body, rotating clockwise, passing through the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth while creating all around me. The torsion field of neutrality. I am in the rest and the stillness of God. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the seventh guardian, counter-rotating, coming in from the core of the earth, passing through the bottom of my feet, moving through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of the 10th dimensional body while creating all around me. The torsion field of neutrality. I am in the rest and the stillness of God. The axis at the top of my head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the 8th guardian, coming in from the top of the 11th dimensional body, rotating clockwise, passing through the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth while creating all around me. A torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends, and it attracts now the energy of the 9th guardian, coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of the 12th dimensional body, while creating all around me. A torsion field of neutrality. The axis at the top of my head extends, and it attracts now the energy of the 10th guardian, coming in from the top of the 13th dimensional body, rotating clockwise, dropping into the top of my head, moving through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth while creating all around me. The torsion field of neutrality. I am in the rest and the stillness of God. The axis at the bottom of my feet extends and it attracts now the energy of the 11th guardian coming in from the core of the earth, counter-rotating, moving through the bottom of my feet, passing through my core, exiting outside of my head, and going into the top of the 14th dimensional body while creating all around me. A torsion field of neutrality. I am in the rest and stillness of God. The axis at the top of my head extends and it attracts now the energy of the 12th guardian coming in from the top of the 15th dimensional body and the throne room of God, rotating clockwise, dropping into the top of my head, passing through my core, exiting at the bottom of my feet, and going into the core of the earth, while creating all around me. The torsion field of neutrality. I am in the rest and the stillness of God. Listen. Listen as if the more than 100 trillion cells in your body had ears. Listen with your entire consciousness. What are you not hearing? what exists in the silence. Thank you for the blessings. I accept the gifts. And I receive with gratitude. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre. That was wonderful.
Good. Good. I'm so happy to hear that. I want to thank you all for listening to me tonight, and I'm so happy that we're doing this work. And I know with practice, it doesn't take long. I'm telling you this. You just have to devote the time to it. It doesn't take long. And when you're doing it in silence at home, prepare your space, make it holy, do whatever you need to do. It's going to make a dramatic difference in less than 2 weeks. Guarantee you. Anyway, thank you everyone. Thank you for listening to us on Patreon and for your support. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.